Hello, Rookie Readers. This is Nigel.
Hello.
I'm Tom. From Atoms for Peace, I suppose. And we're here to answer your questions. The older man, from the older man, because we're old.
Grown man.
Grown up men.
We
I'm
could
44. How old are you?
I'm 42, actually. I know. A couple of years on you, catching up.
I don't think it works like that.
We can get an old man if we need, if we get stuck. I know an old man.
Okay, here's one. How do you tell the boy you have a crush on that you have a crush on him? If you are really, really, really shy, and so is he. This is from Rose, who's 16, from Burlington, Vermont.
Well, I mean, I would say, with my 42 years of experience, that
You've been doing it since you're a baby.
pretty much. That all I would say, my only advice would be to seize an opportunity and not waste time by being shy, because you realise after a while that all that does is doesn't really get you anywhere, actually.
No.
And the worst thing that can happen in that situation is that you find that maybe you were thinking something was happening which isn't happening, and it's better to know sooner rather than later, because then you can move on and do something else. So seize the day.
If you have a crush on him, then you could, if you're really, 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 really shy, which is what I was when I was that age. Also, I was at a boys' school, so it was impossible to meet girls anyway. So
different story.
It's narrow, yeah, different story mentally. So your window of opportunity is quite narrow. So how about just write him a note? If you can't bear to talk to him, just write him a note, or or throw him against the wall sometime.
You always got to understand that everything that you feel, they're in an equivalent situation too. So if they're really shy, they're waiting for you to do something, you're waiting for them to do something, and then nothing happens, and you both lose.
Yeah, you haven't got anything to lose.
You ain't got anything to lose, exactly.
Well,
by acting.
No. You've got something to lose by not acting.
I think
avoid of things, all the things you didn't do, which you could have done, you didn't do. And they sort of add up, so you want to not reduce those.
Very true.
It's true, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
By the time you're 40, you're like, how long is this list?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Right, next. Oh, that's an optional one, so we'll leave that to the end. Oh, you have to read this one now.
Okay.
That one? No, this one.
Oh, all right.
Yes.
Which would you like? Okay, Emily, who is 14,
Hi, Emily.
says, what exactly does it feel like when you like someone? There's this boy that I know. I've known him since we were little, but not very well. He just started going to my high school, and when he talks to me, I get a kind of a jolt, like electricity. I get the same thing when he talks to other people and ignores me. How do I figure out if I like him or not? I've never had a crush, and I'm really confused.
You're 14. That sounds to me like, well, they say people have connections, don't they? I think, well, if you're getting a job, well, you obviously think something about him other than normal.
It sounds like you have a crush to me.
Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. How do you know if you like someone?
Oh, I see.
I think it comes down to that thing where you feel like you have to define what feelings are. It's like, oh, do I like this person? Because you're constantly being told you're going to like someone, you're not going to like someone, you're going to feel something, you're going to meet someone that's going to mean something to you. And the truth is, when it's actually happening, it's pretty straightforward. You know inside yourself, if somebody makes you something, gives you a jolt like electricity, then you're interested in that person. And you have a crush. But also the other thing is that you have to just recognize that it's almost like an impulse that pushes you towards them. But then you have to talk to them and really find out who they are, because you're projecting an image of what you think that person is. And you have to do a little bit more research and try and keep your cool a little. And yeah, I think so. And don't get freaked out by it. They're just a person.
Those little electrical impulses, they're the best bit.
But yeah, they can. But they're just they're a sign. They're a sign to great things.
Yeah, that's fun things. One of the nice things about being alive. It can happen all the time, anytime. So enjoy it.
But it sounds like you have a crush on him.
Yeah.
So
But also, if there's a little spark there, then it might be something vaguely mutual. You never know. I always think that.
I agree. I think the only reason that you ever feel those things is when you are feeling it reciprocated.
Yeah. You never... Maybe when you're younger, maybe it's slightly different, but I definitely don't think that. I think, generally speaking, if there's something... that's because there's something there. And whether people choose to act on it or not, it's a different thing.
Makes you think,
That's
doesn't it?
Definitely old man talking now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. That's what you get when you ask a couple of old men.
Yeah. Hang around on the bus long enough, you start to think that. Oh, your turn.
Is it okay to break up with someone because they're boring you? From Lauren in Brisbane.
Well, that's a difficult one, isn't it?
I mean, I think if they're boring you, then you shouldn't. Yeah, of course it's okay to break up with them, but maybe you can sort of not just say, "Hey, you're boring me, so I'm going to break up with you." You can be a little bit more politic about it.
I would go with that.
Really?
Yeah, but I probably shouldn't say that, should I?
I suffer. I weep for the poor females that have fallen at your feet.
All right, that doesn't mean many. Yes, boring. It depends on how you're boring. They're boring you, but really, I mean, not particularly. I mean, run away, right? I think. Is it okay to break someone because they're boring you?
Yeah, I mean, what does that mean?
I mean, if you sit there and they talk to you and they're saying the same thing over and over again, and you feel like your brain's gently pouring out your ears like soup, it's probably time to go.
Get the check. But the truth is, of course, that you should have common interest in, you're supposed to enjoy your time in relationships. So if it's not, for any reason, you're not enjoying it, then it's not working for you. It's, not all people are compatible. It's not a crime. But you shouldn't feel guilty about it. If that's what you do.
That's not you. I was a little bit more brutal, sorry.
What?
Right, what's next?
You're reading. I'm going to...
Okay, this is number 4, isn't it? Or maybe. Okay, next question. I'm going to hang out with the guy I like, one-on-one for the first time very soon. What does that mean? I am terrified. We have lots of common interests. I find it hard to speak when I'm nervous, and I know I'm going to be terrified when I'm alone with him, at least at first. I'm afraid he's going to think I'm dumb and or boring because I'm too nervous to open up yet. How can I relax and let the words flow? Any interesting conversation topics? Any recommended brands of deodorant? From E, who's 15, in Oregon.
Well, don't worry about the deodorant for starters, unless you want to talk about that.
Yeah.
I think...
Or conversation topics.
Yeah, you can't
think about
specify things to that level. I mean, you're supposed to have a sort of mutual understanding at some point, and I'm sure that if you just actually, the bottom line is you might as well just be yourself, because sooner or later you're going to be yourself anyway. So if that's not going to go down with somebody else, if they don't like you, then just save yourself the heartache and bother and time that you're going to spend opening up. Just be honest with yourself. Be who you are.
But also, when you're nervous with someone, that means that you like them. I know this sounds a bit weird, but often when you hang out properly with someone for the first time, if you're both nervous, if there's this sort of hill you feel like you have to climb in order to relax with them, that's because you both like each other. Or either that, or you're both tied up with ropes or something. Literally. It can be a good thing that you're nervous. Mm-hmm. It can be a nice thing. It can be that it can be very endearing. It's not necessarily a bad thing.
And also, it goes both ways. Somebody else who, going back to our last question, somebody you might think is boring may just really like you, and be sort of scared of doing the wrong thing to the point of it kind of paralysing them slightly.
That's true. Yeah, and yeah. I know
Drink
I'm going
in
to
moderation.
No, don't do that. I know I'm going to be petrified. She's only 15.
Oh, sorry. Really?
Yeah, I'm going to be petrified when I'm alone with him. No, you'll be all right. You'll be all right. Don't run away though. That's bad.
The thing that you should also keep in mind as well is just like, what is the worst thing that can happen? I mean, the worst thing that can happen is nothing. So you may as well just relax, be yourself. I'm sure you're a lovely person. I'm sure anyone, if you're genuine, then you can make a connection with this person who's probably going through something similar to you.
I would have thought so.
So, you know.
Okay,
Hard though, isn't it? I remember all that. I remember that feeling so well. I was terrible at that stuff. I found it.
I was, really bad. And then I had a lot of catching up to do.
My thing was that I could never be that person who made the first. I always had to wait for somebody to sort of do the risky stuff, which is a really.
What do you mean, like, you wait for other people to ask you out?
Yeah.
Really? Mm-hmm. How did that work?
Well, eventually it happens.
That's because you were a mixed school. Imagine me trying to do
that.
I
went to a boys' school.
Did you?
Yeah. We had girls' school next door. But they were
we kind of had that. Yeah, right, yeah, likewise.
But they, their way of dealing with it was to be sort of aggressively, like very scary. Men. The thing I think the other common misconception is to think that boys are not really sensitive and shy and all that kind of stuff. Because we totally are.
Depends who they are.
But a lot of when boys are sort of intimidating or boisterous or behave in a way that makes girls shy, they're just making up for the fact that they're shy underneath it all. And if you keep that in mind, then really, we're all people. We're all the same. Everybody suffers the same.
Persistence. That was good. Don't
really?
Give up. Yeah, follow him around like a nutter.
But there's somebody made a really good point here. There's one thing one question is that she really likes this guy but she doesn't want to turn him off because it's if a boy does that to a girl, it's considered romantic.
Yeah.
But then if a girl does it to a boy, they're considered like a bunny boiler. So just a little bit. It's not a which is very. It's not fair. It's not equal. Anyway.
Are we doing this one?
Let's
do that one first.
Yeah.
I have. Sure.
I've been with my boyfriend for almost 4 years. I lost my virginity to him. I love him very much, and things seem to be going steady with him. Like, I can totally see myself marrying him, but lately I've been wondering how it would feel to have sex with somebody else. And now I can't stop thinking about it and wanting to do it. Does that mean I don't really love him? From somebody called Nina in Mexico.
He was 19.
Yeah. Does that mean I don't really love him? No, I think that means that you're a human being.
Personally. Randy.
Horses are randy. Ladies are interested. What is it?
You shouldn't feel bad about that at all. Absolutely not. Because if you feel like that now, they're going to carry on feeling like that. So one way or the other, something's going to happen.
Well,
don't feel bad. Well, don't feel bad about it.
Don't feel bad about it. I think
you've been with him for 4 years, but you're only 19, and a lot of changes are going to take place as you get older. So don't think that your life will always be fixed like this. It'll move, it'll change. It's all right that it changes. It's all right that you feel different shit. Everybody does.
Also, I think there's an important distinction to make, and it's something that people talk about, whereby relationships are complicated things, and long-term relationships, when you spend years and years with people, the dynamic is different, and you're never ever going to stop being attracted to people. That's just a fact of life because we're all human beings. But what you do is you prioritize what's important. Somehow you manage to not sacrifice this thing that's very, very important, which is your stability and the basis of your relationship and all the things that you get from it. But you allow yourself to sort of, if you must, look but don't touch, but don't, jeopardize your life for something that is just maybe just gonna be pretty soon done after it's happened, I think.
Yeah, you've got plenty of time. Don't freak out. But I mean, it may be that your boyfriend feels the same as well.
Oh shit! Really?
That's possible, right?
Yeah. That was terrible.
Was I not supposed to say that?
No. It's really fine. Everything is fine. That's 6.
You want to do the last one? Is that 6?
Oh no, sorry. Yeah, when I was 2 years old, I
This
had
is the
heart.
bonus one.
For a bonus question, when I was 2 years old, I had heart surgery. Because of this, I'm left with a foot-long scar down the middle of my chest. I'm worried that guys will find it unattractive, and it's really affecting my confidence. What's your opinion on imperfections like this on women? Just quickly, I want to say I think that they're a wonderful thing. If you like somebody and someone has an imperfection, they're generally the things that you end up really identifying with that person specifically. And if somebody can be as shallow and facile to have a problem with something like that, which is so nothing to do with, I mean, you don't want to be with a person who would have a problem with that, I don't think, myself.
This doesn't work properly. When I was born, I had several operations because I was born with this one completely shut. And now it sort of opens, but when I do this, I can't. It's wonky. It doesn't work the same way. And when I was your age, I was convinced that girls would think that was really not very nice at all. That's all right. That's fine. And I worked in this pub, and this old woman, she was so funny. She used to come in all the time, and she said, she was the first person who really said to me, "It's the nicest thing about you." I mean, she was pissed all the time, but I went with it. So you'd be surprised.
She was a sage. She spoke the truth.
She did, actually. A bit. So it's, yes, imperfections. Everyone is imperfect. No one has a symmetrical face. No one's body is perfect. Don't worry.
Very wise words. And case in point, I didn't even think about the fact about his eye. It didn't even occur to me because I don't think about it when I look at him. I don't think of that, So he has to point it out.
Or not look up. All right, anyway, that's it. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Is that all right?